Once a cheater, always a cheater. Well, not in all aspects of life, because new research apparently shows 95% of unfaithful partners would rather cheat than change their regular coffee order.
Utterly bizarre. And 86% would rather have an affair than cheat on their political party. No way. No way.
How can you cheat on your political party?
No way. Well, here to talk to us is psychotherapist Lucy Beresford. Lucy, great to see you. Talk us through this.
So the research was really trying to explore this age-old conundrum, which is if you know that someone has cheated on their partner, does that mean that they could be unfaithful in all other areas of their life? So the study that's just come out, it's from Madison. They're the world's leading married dating website people. And
Lovely.
They suggested that no, actually 90% of people are way more loyal, for example, to their political party. Although, actually, at the moment, I think there is a certain amount of promiscuity going on in terms of what might be happening at, if not the local elections, then maybe the general election, if it happens later this year. But things like whether you would be loyal to your favourite coffee, to your football team, for example. There are people who are loyal to their football team for the whole of their life.
But there's also research from that website saying that...
Madison.
Yeah, it's an affairs website, isn't it? I mean, so it says that if you are a cheater with your partner, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be disloyal in other areas of life, which
Correct.
I find astounding, because if you can't stay loyal to the one person that matters, how are you going to stay loyal to something, you know, trivial like a...
But that's
like
really
a
interesting.
brand?
What people would argue that your football allegiance or your political party is not a trivial thing. But the idea that just because you are having an affair means that necessarily you are unhappy in your relationship is also another myth that needs to be busted, I think, because a lot of people have affairs. Controversial take coming up, drum roll, which is that you actually have an affair in order to stay married. It enables you to show up as a better spouse, as a less resentful parent, as someone who is not blown
If you're
apart
honest about
by the
it?
things. What do you mean?
If you're honest about
why you're having an affair.
About the fact that you're going to have an affair, surely there needs to be a conversation if you're going to come out the other side positively.
Not necessarily.
So even if you're hiding it.
I think I gave a TED talk on infidelity, whether to stay or to go, because this is if you discover that infidelity has rocked your world, what are you actually going to do about it? And for a lot of people, the actual blowing apart of all of this information gives them a reset. It gives them an opportunity to reboot that relationship, because couples get into grooves, couples get into ruts, and they kind of miss out on communication effectively, and they don't really understand how to woo their partner or to, I suppose, do things that make them feel loved and appreciated and valued. And that's unfortunately what can often lead people
I just don't think sleeping with someone else is the remedy to that.
Maybe it is the moment at which it gets your relationship back on track.
Well, maybe, absolutely, and lots of people will attest to that. Lots of people will attest to that.
I'm sure they would have been having multiple affairs. They're filling their boots.
But it's true. Couples can become more like housemates, can't they? And spend no time trying to actually take an interest in one another after.
And also, you can become very
years.
competitive in terms of how you hurt each other. Whereas actually, and actually, some interesting research from Madison, maybe about 6 months ago, was around the fluidity of relationships and how, for example, Madison, which, as you pointed out, is a married dating website, actually has the highest sign-ups from people who are not married. So men, for example, who are single, who want to get into a relationship but maybe not a completely committed one. And also Generation Z, people under the age of 29, they form the highest cohort of people signing up at the moment.
Men are signing up to this site.
They're single men
to meet up with married women, so there's no strings attached.
Yes.
What's the website name, sorry? I'm joking. Just kidding. I jest.
Listen to this one. 87% of those surveyed would rather cheat on their partner than on their taxes. So it's interesting, isn't it? The idea of morality. That's an interesting...
And also there was one about whether you should cheat, quite low bar, but I think only 7% of men said that they would cheat in a race, like a sort of, dad's sports day type race.
Egg and spoon race.
11% of men said they would cheat on their psychotherapist. So I'm like, OK, how does that work? But the key thing is this overall message, which is, can you extrapolate from the fact that someone has had an affair, that somehow they're going to be untrustworthy in all areas of life? If you were working with someone and you discovered that your colleague was having an affair, would that actually change? Would it make you reappraise your interaction with them? And what this research is suggesting is that, no, you don't have to do that.
And in terms of getting over infidelity, is it worse when it's been a full-on emotional affair rather than just a bit of
like texting or something?
extracurricular activities?
No, not necessarily. And I think that goes to the individual, that in terms of what constitutes cheating is very interesting. In terms of micro-cheating, for example, would it offend you if you knew that your partner was still liking the Instagram posts of their ex, for example?
Yeah, that's cheating.
But, and is there a difference between a one-night stand and a full-blown 11-year affair with maybe some children on the side? You know, different people have different red lines. And that's the extraordinary thing, is that people do stay with the people who have perhaps betrayed them. But that's because by that stage, everything comes out in the open.
Absolutely.
You end up having conversations that you should have had 20 years earlier.
Really interesting.
I think it's just a real... It's a real
So
shame.
comfortable to talk about.
You take marriage vows... I mean, I've got zero tolerance for it. I mean, and my wife does as well, you know. Even the one little thing, for me, that would be it, I think.
One strike and you're out.
One strike.
One strike and you're out.
Otherwise, why take the vows? I mean, just behave yourself.
Just behave yourself.
Control yourself.
Ben's telling you to behave yourself this morning.
Or watch
There
my
you go.
TED Talk and work
Thank you
out
so
how to
much.
get through it.
But yes,
Thank
we
you,
will
Lucy.
do. Thank you. I will actually watch that. It sounds very interesting indeed. Lucy Beresford, psychotherapist.